We're going to be looking at sadness today. Um, because I feel like sitting with sadness is something our culture doesn't do very well, but it's something that's um, really helpful and really important. Um, I saw a clip the other day where somebody was talking about instead of looking at grief as a process or an event or whatever, looking at grief as a language. And because there's always things in our life that are going to be sad or that we need to grieve. And so just looking at like having the language to be able to be sad and keep living instead of, I don't know, I feel like with the whole grief cycle and process or whatever, it kind of gets set up as like this separate thing that you should do and then you get back to life. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. Um, so so we're going to look at sadness today. So we're going to start with our box. And um, if there's something you're sad about, it can be something really small. It could be something really big. You might even not know what you're sad about if there's just sadness there. Um, and you can also, like, you might know you're sad about a really big thing, but you don't feel like tackling that right now. You can pick a smaller thing that you're sad about um, to go through and experience this if that feels like tackling some big thing that you're sad about would be too overwhelming. So we're going to start with our box. It covers kind of half the page. And I'm going to label it sadness. And then just think about if you were to make a picture of your sadness, what would that look like? Is it heavy? Is it big? Is it small? Just if you're like, my sadness was a picture, what would it look like? And if you're doing a picture of yourself, like I always just do, well, for any of it, it's doodling. It's like just a simple sketch. So we're not trying to create a piece of art or get it to look just so. We're just making a simple representation of the ideas that come to mind when we think about sadness or whatever we're doodling. But and we're just going to use the journaling prompts. I think, I feel, I need. So you can go back and forth between journaling and drawing and painting as you need to. And I would probably beside the picture or under the picture identify like what it is that the sadness is about if you can identify it. And if you can't, that's okay, because sometimes it's just kind of residual and we need to give it space for a while before we can really identify what it is. when you're doing your journaling, the I feel, naming different emotions. I guess it doesn't have to be naming emotions. It could be, I feel like I'm being squashed or whatever. Um, but if it's an emotion word, it's usually one word. And then the thoughts are more, I think I can't handle this, or I think it's never going to change, or whatever kind of things. And I encourage you, as you're like allowing yourself to feel your sadness, to not judge your sadness or be like, I should be over this, or this shouldn't be here, or I shouldn't feel this way. Um, because I think, again, we're taught that, like, don't be sad, you have things to be thankful for. Um, but you can be both. You can be deeply grateful for your blessings and sad about things. And so allow the space for the sadness to show up for what it is and the way that it is. Um, and not putting pressure on to feel different or any of that, because it's through actually feeling what you feel that you can get the information and let the feeling move on, where trying to make it be something different just gets it stuck. I realized I didn't pin the video, so I don't know how that records differently, but um, so yeah, just not putting any expectations on, like you're just kind of sitting in a place of observing. Okay, sadness is here. Why is it here? What do I need in this place of sadness? And if you have any questions as we go, you can always let me know, and I can pause the recording. There was a question about, like, do I need to just focus on sadness here? Like, if I have a hopeful thought, do I, save that for later or whatever? Um, and the hopeful thought might be what you do in the next one, but like I said, you're sitting in a place of observing. And so if you observe that, oh, in the midst of this sadness, there's some hope here, like that's good. That's what you want. Um, to help see that it's not all or nothing. It's not if I'm sad, I'm just sad and there's nothing else. Like, no, in your sadness, it can be showing you that you need more connection or that you need someone that understands or whatever and actually help you take steps towards what you need when there's the hope that you can get what you need. So, yeah, observing all the emotions and giving them all space is very good. And under or beside your picture too, you can put like where it shows up in your body and how your body feels when you like have out the sadness. Like where are you feeling it and how does it feel? Does your heart feel heavy? Does your chest feel tight? Does your head hurt? Um, just whatever, just sit and pay attention and be like, so where is this in my body and what does it feel like? And if you feel like you don't know, like that's okay. We've kind of been taught to not pay attention to our bodies. Um, but you can just start practicing that either when you're feeling something, asking how it's showing up in your body, or when you notice something showing up in your body, see if you can connect it to a feeling. Okay, so sitting with your sadness might be challenging. Like we don't want to feel uncomfortable and whatever things we're feeling, we just want to move on. But hopefully you also see that like it's powerful and it makes room for hope to come in. Um, what we're going to do for our next doodle is we're going to give sadness a chance to talk. Um, so the first one we asked, what does the sadness look like? And really focused on like what it felt like, what we feel like in our sadness. And it just felt like we needed to take the time to ask sadness what it has to say because our emotions are messengers from the Lord, just like our physical senses. We see things, we physically feel things, we hear things that give us information that help us make good decisions, that help us enjoy life, experience life, and emotions is just kind of another sense. So, um, like seeing something beautiful brings you joy, seeing something dangerous warns you to, change your course is kind of, what that's saying to you. So, taking the time to hear and listen to what does sadness have to say to me. So, we're going to our box, and you're always free to just do something different. If the Lord is bringing something to mind, go with that. If you don't feel like anything's coming to mind, you can follow what I'm doing. So we're going to draw our box, and we're going to write the question: sadness, what do you want to say? And if you write the question, sadness, what do you want to say? And then just start your journaling with, I want to say, and just keep writing. That often helps instead of trying to think of what sadness might want to say. Just you write the question from you, sadness, what do you want to say? And then start writing the answer from sadness, I want to say, and just keep writing when you're ready to journal. And again, you can journal and do your picture back and forth um, whatever. And like maybe an image doesn't come to mind. Maybe there's just colors or designs or whatever. So I'm still going to challenge you to fill the box, um, to give yourself the time to listen to sadness. Um, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a picture. It might just be a design or some colors or something. And if you like, great sadness, what do you want to say? And you don't feel like it's saying anything, maybe asking sadness, why are you here? Sadness, what do you need? Changing the question a little bit might help to get the words flowing. All right. So we were discussing off camera, like what do you do if your grief is really big? It feels too big for one session. It is too big for one session, for one doodle. Um, as saying that when you have a really big thing to grieve, a really big thing that you're sad about, it's okay to let it change your life. If you've experienced a life-changing event, it's okay to let it change your life and to spend more time being sad than you normally would and to ask for more help than you normally would or to cancel things on your schedule or whatever. Like if you experienced a life-changing event, acknowledge that and actually let it change your life. Um, and then also talked about like if it feels like you're just spending too much time being sad, like you feel like you've listened, you feel like you're feeling the emotion and it still feels like it's just too much being sad. You might need to reach out to a friend. You might need to just force yourself to get up and move. Um, you might need to give yourself a time limit of, okay, I'm going to sit here and cry for a minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I'm going to get up and do the next thing that I need to do or make myself do something fun or um, whatever it is. And allowing the big thing to be as big as it feels will help you heal and put it in perspective much faster than trying to just live your life the way it was before and be a little sad, as you go, because you can't live your life as you did before. It's not the same anymore. So what we're going to do for our last doodle is we're going to do hope. And I think one of the best, well, I don't know, I guess hope is so important. Like we have to have hope that things can be better and that things can change. So um if in your previous two doodles there was some feelings of hope, like you might want to pick one of those to focus on. You can focus on just hope in general. Um and as the other thing I feel like I want to share is that if you're not sure where to find hope or you're just feeling like the sadness is too much and you can't escape it, um, finding, I call it finding Jesus. Because when you find Jesus, you're going to find hope. You're going to find a safe place. So, like I said, if you're doing the workshop and you had a hopeful thought, some hopeful feelings in one of the first two, and you want to focus on that, you can focus on that. Um, and I also want to walk you through kind of a finding Jesus so that if you hit a point where you're too overwhelmed and you just want to numb out and you just want to escape, this will be a tool that you can use to not just escape, but to actually be refreshed and have some healing. So, um, the first thing you do is you find a memory where you feel safe, you feel content, you feel grateful, um, where just everything is at peace. There's nothing wrong. in this moment of this memory. And so one of mine, it's good to have a collection of them because some connect different times, but to have at least one. And mine is at Bear Lake. And so I'm just going to do a sketch of me at the lake with the mountains. And so you find a memory that feels peaceful, and you can doodle it. You can just think about it. Often it helps to describe it out loud. Um, and you can just like be describing it to Jesus, like we're there at the beach and the sand is so soft and the water is so clear and the sun is amazing and there's nobody else out there. I have the lake to myself and is surrounded by mountains, and I just feel so grateful, and like this day was made just for me. And when you're like in that memory and feeling the gratitude, ask Jesus where he is. And as you practice this, like the describing it, describe as many senses: what you see, what you smell, what you feel, what you're hearing, all those things to help you like really engage with the memory, and then ask Jesus where he is. And you can practice that to use that as an escape or to take a break from the grieving and the sadness. So you find that place, or if you're doing, your hopeful thought, you can do the I feel and I think. And if you're doing hope, you could do hope says, because like hope is speaking, hope is the Lord. Like we have hope in him. He is our hope. Or I'm going to do Jesus says. As my last one. And let me know if you have questions or if any of that was, yeah. So if you have any questions as you're trying to do this. And I don't remember if I said or not that when you're in the memory and you're feeling that gratitude and telling the Lord that you're thankful, then ask him to show you where he is in that memory, because Jesus is outside of time. So he's both with us in the moment right now, and he was with us in that memory. And since he's outside of time, he can kind of be in both at the same time. So we can go to the memory with him and be with him, and we can be like, what are you? And like in our memory, we can go back and we're always doing the same thing because it's a memory we experienced. But since he's outside of time, he can be doing something different every time we go back to the memory. And so just asking him what he's doing. And if he wants to say anything or what he wants to show you. All right, so that is the end of our workshop. Let me know if you have questions, if you need help processing any of this stuff. Often having someone to talk to or help you ask questions as you're going through is really helpful, even in the finding Jesus, to be able to talk it out and yeah, be able to like, okay, I'm at this point. What question do I ask, or where do I go from here? Um, and yeah, just thank you for being here, and I will see you next month.